Hey, Injured Gadgets family. So today we wanted to compare our FX5 Incell and our FX5 regular screen up to a competitor screen and just show you the differences. So this is the competitor screen. So we'll call them competitor X. That's our FX5 Incell screen. And on the far right is our FX5 screen. Please keep note that the lighting kind of directs more so on the right screen. So you might see it a little bit I guess more light coming down on it. I did try and move these around a little bit, but obviously I can't control the lighting in the room, and I didn't have a light box for this, unfortunately. But yeah, these are the three screens. Our competitor screen right here. All three, mind you, did come with the back plates pre-installed, and they do come pre-installed. We just removed them for our testing. All right, so let's go ahead and get started into what we're going to see between the three screens here. All right, so what I want to do is I want to touch the 3D touch. Now our FX5 Incell is going to have the best 3D touch, and if you go around the edges of screens, you'll see that 3D touch sometimes doesn't work. And so you'll see on the FX5 Incell that basically no matter where we press on the screen, top, bottom, left, right, whatever it is, 3D touch is working. And the cool thing is that the screen isn't even laid flat on the phone. Now this makes the test even that much harder. The crazy thing is, like, if you install these screens and then held the phone in your hand, the 3D touch would actually probably work. But we wanted to lay it down like this just to show that the 3D touch on the FX5 Incell is extremely sensitive. It works really well. With the FX5, you'll see it kind of works here and there without it laid down. Like it works right there on the photos. It'll work in a few different areas. And that it's still a solid 3D touch. Now, our competitor X screen, I could not get the 3D touch to turn on at all. No matter where I press, I did top, left, bottom, right, sides, it just would not work. And I tried this on two of their 7 Plus screens, and I mean, I couldn't get it to work on either one. Granted, it might work once again once the phone is installed, the screen is installed, and the screen is actually not laid down. All right, so another test we wanted to do was a polarization test. And of course, we have our polarized lens that we're going to be using for this. And we want to see if these screens are all 360 polarized and how well the color holds as you go from one degree to another. All right, so right off the bat, in my opinion, you kind of see that the FX5 Incell is the clearest. And our competitor screen, which they do claim it's 360 polarized, it's not. And you'll see it kind of goes completely black at some angles, and at some angles it works great. But as you can see, the FX5 Incell is just really, really vivid. The FX5 is also really clear, and both those are obviously 360-degree polarized. Now, I do want to give our competitor the benefit of the doubt. We did grab another screen, and I'm going to show you guys that video right after I go through this. But their second screen was actually 360-degree polarized. Like I said, I want to give them the benefit of the doubt. Maybe this screen was just a one-off defect, but let's go ahead and install the second screen, which seemed to be better and brighter, but let's go ahead and show that one working, obviously. Alright, so now we have that screen installed, the second one we tried from the vendor, competitor X, and as you can see, this one actually is 360-degree polarized. In my opinion, it was a little bit darker, so it didn't kind of keep its nice, clean clarity. It did kind of look a little bit darker through the polarized sunglasses, but it was definitely 360-degree polarized, as you can see that there. But yeah, during some angles, it kind of does change its appearance a little bit. Incell obviously holds a lot better. FX5 will have a mild bit of darkness, but it obviously holds its color really well too. Alright, so what we're going to do next is just show that all of these devices are obviously all the way up on brightness, and that the settings are the exact same. These were all on the same iOS, if I'm not mistaken. And you'll kind of see just differences in colors and variation. Just right here, you can see the FX5 Incell is really bright. It's nice and crisp. The FX5 looks good. The competitor screen looks good. They all have different tones to them. I mean, even on the original, there's Toshiba, Sharp, LG. All of them have mild variances in the actual colors, tones, warmness, coolness. You're never going to have the same exact color for a specific brand. So we went ahead and got all these screens on a white screen. As you can see, I mean, you're going to have mild variances in color, like I said, for every brand. But once again, just showing you guys the same screens. That is our competitor screen. It's on a white screen. Mind you, these colors are all the exact same. I know they all look different, but we airdropped it from one phone to the other. So these are actually the exact same colors. We did want to show you guys that the brightness is all the way up on these, and that there really is no variation between the phones and the devices. That's kind of just the color you're going to get. Um, I would say that the competitor screen as well as our screen have more of a cooler tone to them. Um, and then the FX5 Incell has more of a warmer tone to it. So obviously that's an all in programming. You can kind of just change that, or in backlights, polar. I mean, there's a lot of ways to change that color in the factory. But here we're going to test the brightness. We're testing out luminosity or luminance, and it's a CD M divided by M2 tester right here. So what you'll see right here, once we put it on, and obviously I'm trying to make sure that the machine shows it, but our comparator screen has about 465 lumens, which is pretty bright. The OEM screens have right around 500, but the weird thing is their screen, once you put it in the corners, 420. Now our Incell has close to 500 lumens, so it kind of matches with OEM, and in the corners, it's going to be about 450, 440. So it's definitely a significant drop. And then of course our FX5 has about 455, 460, in the center 465, and then in the corners it actually holds its light really, really well, 450. So you're only seeing like a 2, 3, 4%, not even 4%, a 3% drop from the center to the corners. And what you'll see with these LCDs often is that once you go to the corners, they're going to lose a lot of their brightness. Obviously, you can't see it with the naked eye, but they do lose a lot of their brightness. And we just wanted to show the polarization on the white screens. As you can see, the comparator screen is a little bit more red than the other two. They all do kind of change colors depending on the variance of the polarizer, the polarized sunglasses. Um, the competitors is a little bit darker, I'd say, than the FX5 Incell or the FX5 on a white screen. But I mean, that's all, of course, personal preference. All right, so here I wanted to go ahead and just take apart the actual three screens, kind of show you the differences between them and what the internal layers and components look like. Now, our competitor screen, as well as our FX5 standard screen, use a G plus G, which is glass-to-glass structure. Um, what this means is that the ITO chipsets, the OCA, are all pretty thin, but the glass is going to be a little bit thicker than a G plus F or a G plus FF or an in-cell panel. So they are going to have a slight raised look to them, where the glass is not going to be quite as thin as an OEM glass. Now, the in-cell is going to be really, really thin. Um, and that's because it's using the Incell panel. So really you're going to have the 3D touch, the touch sensor, and the LCD all as one layer on the glass, on the screen. And then the glass is its own layer, making it much thinner. It also has the IDC chip, which is an integrated driver controller, and that's going to reduce your power consumption. All right, so let's go ahead and remove the screws on our back plate because we hadn't done that yet. So what I want to kind of show you guys here is the build structures. Like I said, both our screen and our competitor screen are, I mean, they're great premium aftermarket screens. Obviously, I'm biased. I feel like ours is a little bit better. It's brighter. It holds its color a little bit better. The colors are better. The polarization's better. But they both use a G plus G structure. Um, and so the touch is not going to be connected to the LCD. Whereas the in-cell screen, you'll see that the LCD, the digitizer touch sensor, and the 3D touch sensor are all connected. So this is going to kind of reduce the possibility of defects. It's going to make it thinner. It's going to make it better. It's a better product overall. All right. Another great thing is that the flex cable is very rigid, and I'll kind of show you guys that a little bit later. But let's go ahead and zoom in here, just so you guys can kind of see how this all works. All right. So you're going to see that on the Incell, it's just one flex cable. It's all one piece. There's nothing soldered on. Um, right here, it's all one piece. There's nothing else really there, and that's how you kind of know it's Incell. So if anybody's ever selling you an Incell, just verify that this flex cable is all just one piece and that you're not looking at multiple pieces. Okay, now with our screen, you're going to see that the touch flex is actually soldered onto the LCD flex. Okay, you'll kind of see them, they're two completely separate flex cables. And obviously that can cause touch issues if any of those points for some reason aren't connected properly. Um, then obviously it can cause it to not work. So that's why the Incell is going to have better touch stability, and it's also going to have a faster touch response rate, just because it's all one piece. So it's not having to like talk to another chipset or another flex cable. I mean, you get the idea how that works. All right, now our competitor screen actually has, it's the same structure. The digitizer flex is basically connected to the LCD flex. It's not one piece. But what I noticed with them is that their home button flex is actually attached to the digitizer flex as well. Personally, I'm not quite sure why that is. I am not as technical of a person. I've never seen this before on any other screen. Um, I'm sure there's a reason why. Quite honestly, I don't know why uh, their home button flex and digitizer flex are connected to each other. In my opinion, I feel like that would increase the odds of a defect. Whereas if that one flex is bad, then both those components are bad, the digitizer and the home button. But I mean, there could be a reason behind it. I'm just not quite sure what it is. So we're going to go through the different layers of our panel. I mean, you're going to see like the backlight, the polarizer. I mean, with G plus G, it's all separate. So nothing is really connected. There's a lot of different layers. Makes it a little bit thicker, but that's what everybody uses. Right there is our 3D touch. It is a software-based 3D touch, but that's what makes your 3D touch work, and that's kind of how most G plus Gs and even the G plus F or FFs have worked. Whereas now the new incells, they're different. So our comparison rate, I'm going to kind of speed this up too, just do the breakdown of theirs, but you'll kind of see the differences. Now, as I tore apart their screen and went through the layers, I noticed that it did not have real 3D touch anymore. I know they used to claim real 3D touch, and they still do, but I did notice that it no longer has real 3D touch. And I was trying to find the 3D Touch Flex cable, but I couldn't find it. So I believe that they've just built in the software 3D Touch into perhaps the home button flex or something. Once again, I've never quite seen that before. I'm not the factory, but I mean they're a great team, so I'm sure there's a reason behind that. It could be cost savings to combine them all into one flex. It could be, who knows, even potentially a lower defect rate to combine it all. I'm really not quite sure, but I've personally just never seen it before, so I personally could not figure it out. Incell on the other hand is completely different. Like I said, the LCM, which is the LCD, the digital touch sensor, and the 3D touch sensor are all built into one layer. So it is going to be completely different from the G plus G structure. You're not going to see like a 3D touch panel there because it's all part of one layer, but it is using a real 3D touch, at least for right now on our 7 Plus and 8 Plus, and then pretty soon on our 4.7s. All right, now I wanted to talk about the flex cables and how rigid and stiff our Incel flex cables are compared to standard FX5 or our competitor. Right here, I'm using our competitor screen on the right and our FX5 screen on the left. So our FX5 Incel screen is, sorry, our FX5 Incel is on the left. It's a very rigid flex cable, just like OEM. So now a lot of you will notice when you install a screen, you put the back plate on, and the flex cables move around. Well, that's because they're not as high quality of a flex cable as the Incell. The Incell is a really tight flex cable. It's very rigid. It's going to hold its place. It's just going to hold together much better and keep where it is wherever you lay it down with the back plate. So that's another great thing to look forward to. All right, the last thing I wanted to show you guys of FX5 Incell versus the regular FX5. And I grabbed black screens for this just to kind of show you the difference. A lot of you guys may have noticed that in the past, the FX5 screens and basically all aftermarket screens, that when the screen is off on a black screen, it doesn't match the color of the glass. Obviously, that's very frustrating. It doesn't look OEM, but people don't really notice it, nor do they complain. I'm talking about consumers. Now, what we've done with the Incell is we have matched the off screen to the actual glass, and you'll kind of see this here. On the left is the FX5, which is phenomenal, and on the right is our Incell screen. If you'll notice, the glass and the LCD are a perfect color match, whereas you can kind of see the separation and distance, like the actual color difference between our regular FX5 screen and every other aftermarket screen on the market. Our Incell screen is really, as far as I know, the only one on the market right now where it has that nice color match. So even when I change the lighting, you'll kind of see that separation, whereas on the Incell you don't. And I mean, that's just the most amazing thing ever. I mean, I've had so many customers ask about it. They're like, hey, does the color match? Well, now it does. So those are the benefits of Incell, guys. I hope you all check it out. Visit our website, Gadgets.